When I grow up, I want to be a professional amateur sports player. That's what I tell my parents, at least, when they ask. The issue is, I'm 23, and apparently I need a job. But why? I don't want to sit in a grubby little office obeying a well-ironed suit all day. That sounds like hell. I want to be outside, in a park, playing with my friends against other teams. Is that too much to ask for? With this in mind, I'm currently in the market for a wealthy patron to support my amateur athletic endeavours, because my dad has told me he no longer wants to. I never had a choice about going to school. Do any of us? And I went to university without too much thought. But I've now reached a critical juncture in my life, and I can't stop thinking about my choices. I'm being told that I must work to survive, but I simply don't want to. No sane person would sign up for torture, and yet every graduate scheme is oversubscribed. Why aren't more people complaining? I guess it's probably best just to ignore the preposterous nature of the situation we find ourselves in. In the face of accepting that we are being co-opted, coerced, and exploited, perhaps ignorance is bliss. In this life, the only thing we truly have is time. Everyone has a number in line. Our turn at death will come. We are being forced to exchange our only asset on a daily basis that we may live to see another day, commodified. I can't be the only one to see the irony. My life shouldn't be a means to enrich shareholders. I am not a piece of capital willing to submit to their every demand. Talk of utopia is rare, but I do think it's important to consider what would constitute your perfect world. One facet of mine would be the freedom from work. In my utopia, no one would have to work to survive. One of the worst indictments of the current state of affairs is the delight people take in retiring, if they're ever able to, free from work at last. It's wasted on the elderly. If you had the choice of when to pick your 15 plus work-free years of your adult life, would you pick a period in your life when you're less mobile, more susceptible to illness, short of sight, sound and taste, incontinent, impotent, or would you choose your 20s and 30s? I know what I would choose. Don't give up the best years of your life for free. Know your worth and what it is you are selling. So why are we told our youth is the best years of our life? Beyond being more energetic and carefree, why is school and university life the best? For me, specifically in university, I was surrounded by friends and had a level of autonomy over my own day-to-day schedule. I was my own boss. Having just graduated, it is soul-destroying to think my best days are already over and the worst is yet to come. Why are people so satisfied with being miserable? Is it some form of collective delusion? I don't want to look back fondly on my best years. I want each year to be the best year. You may be thinking, what the fuck does this 23-year-old think he knows about work? Well, I'll have you know, my thoughts on the world of work have been guided by not one, but two books, and also a would-be politician, and a tiny, incy, wincy smidge of actual experience. Though, sometimes it's best to be outside the system to criticize it. The books are called The Meritocracy Trap and 80,000 Hours, and the politician is Andrew Yang. The Meritocracy Trap highlights the harm our celebration of corporate jobs is causing. Andrew Yang offered tangible policies to improve the world of work, and 80,000 Hours presents a different lens through which we can view our currently unavoidable lifetime commitment to work. And my incy wincy smidge of work experience has taught me nothing. I read The Meritocracy Trap at a rather pertinent moment in my life. I was commuting 3 hours a day for a 6-week internship over a university summer holiday. I was away from my accommodation for at least 11 hours each day, some days even more. The internship couldn't end soon enough. How could I last a lifetime? Oh, why didn't I just have fun that summer? However, the time spent on the train was an ample opportunity for reading, as I didn't want to be one of those fools who spent the commute on their phones. Admittedly, I was also on my phone during some of those commutes,
and when I actually did read, I felt an unwarranted amount of smugness. Shh.
I soon learned that my disillusionment wasn't the only effect of our meritocratic corporate structure. But firstly, what is a meritocracy? It basically describes a social hierarchy in which those at the top have got there through their own hard work and talent, i.e., they merit their positions. This is in contrast to, say, an aristocracy, where those on top were born on top. In our world, it is the corporate professionals who are on top. The partners at law firms, accounting firms, investment bankers, consultants. The meritocracy trap explores the fetishization of meritocracy in Western societies. The book outlines many ways the meritocratic order has failed us. For one, we've become seemingly willing to accept income inequality because those at the top have quote unquote earned it. Secondly, those on top are actually having to work longer and longer to maintain their status, which is in stark contrast to the lazy fuckers that were the aristocrats of old. The working hours of the professional class have grown in the face of Keynes' prediction that technological advancement would free us from work, not burden us further. Like any locked in system, meritocracy is hard to change. Why should those on top who currently benefit from this meritocratic workaholic system want to change it? They derive their money, power, status, and sense of fulfillment from the perpetuation of the status quo. But are they happy living at work?
And this is without even getting started on the hollowed out working and middle classes who have seen no substantial benefit from the system they are forced to be part of to survive. During his campaign to be Democratic candidate for US presidency in 2020, Andrew Yang often referred to the problem of meritocracy, but he didn't openly discuss it. Out of his graduate class from an Ivy League university, he said that many went on to corporate jobs in finance and law in NYC, including Yang himself. He quickly became disillusioned and instead turned to entrepreneurship. But I'm not going to repeat his stump speech word for word here. Go watch it if you want to. However, his flagship policy is what is most interesting. It's UBI, Universal Basic Income. UBI is when all citizens of a country receive an income from the government irrespective of whether they work. UBI would free us from being forced to sell ourselves to stay alive, enabling me to pursue my true purpose in life, becoming a decorated amateur sports player. After his unsuccessful campaign, Yang began, like many others, to promote the introduction of a 4-day work week. It's quite a simple concept, really. Rather than work Monday to Friday, i.e., 5 days a week, Monday, 1, Tuesday, 2, etc., I know you can count, you would only work 4 days each week. Both UBI and a 4-day work week are evidently good for the health and happiness of workers. Who wouldn't want either? Yet, rather than being exclusively framed with the health and happiness of ordinary citizens in mind, many attempt to talk about them in terms of productivity and efficiency benefits. Studies have shown that 4-day work weeks don't necessarily hurt profits of companies due to the increases seen in the productivity of employees. And that's all well and good, but these policies could be implemented even if they do hurt profits. At the end of the day, what matters more? Us, the people, or your shareholders' profits? Is work fun? Do you work hard to play hard? Why? Why work? Why do you work? Why don't you support policies like UBI and a 4-day work week that would free you from work as much as possible? Are we all just masochists enjoying the toil of work with its associated pain and suffering? You know, it's not necessarily productive to nihilistically shit on the world of work without offering a solution. Mind you, it is rather fun. So, is there a better way? If we must work, which I contest isn't and shouldn't be the case, we should at least be clear why it is we are working. So, what is the best approach to the rest of your life? The most promising answer I have found was from 80,000 hours. Its premise is relatively simple. You work for roughly 80,000 hours over your lifetime, so you might as well use that time wisely doing something worthwhile. This isn't groundbreaking, it's a rather common idea, I know. However, it is a definition of worthwhile that sets them apart. In their eyes, worthwhile work is doing the most good possible. You should choose a career path that maximizes your total impact on the world. For some, this may mean buying into the meritocratic order so that they can earn a sizable income from which they donate a small fortune to effective charities. For others, it is a lifetime of research in niche fields that are, as of yet, unexplored and offer lots of low-hanging fruit. I'm not going to summarize the book and website here, but rather I'm just trying to inform you of its existence. Go read it if you're interested. You can get the book for free by signing up on their website. I'm just here to tell you that alternates exist. For example, 80,000 Hours did inspire me to take this series. However, it should be stated that it and effective altruism more generally are bounded by the system they developed in and cannot transcend it, i.e., they play by the rules of capitalism and do little to redress or change the systemic inequalities found within it. This critique has been fully explored by Mia Srinivasan in a review of McCaskill's earlier work. 80,000 Hours encourages its audience to be as productive and efficient as possible, which seems eerily similar to the core neoliberal meritocratic tenet of ultimate dedication to work. The idea of not submitting oneself to the pursuit of productivity and instead enjoying life is raised by Byung-Chul Han in Psychopolitics, and it's also worth a read. If we embrace 80,000 Hours too wholeheartedly, we quickly forget where we started. Thinking about how I become a professional amateur sports person. Come on, people, let's focus on the real issues. In sum, there is no easy answer. Why work? We work because we have to. It's a pretty simple answer. Because we can't afford not to. 80,000 Hours is a solution for those of us best placed to win in this meritocratic world. But what about the rest of us? What hope does it provide? So I ask again, do you want to work more or less? Why not consider supporting policies that reduce our time at work? And before diving in headfirst to work, really consider what you're landing in, because it's of a pile of shit, it's going to take a while for the smell to come out.